What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we're back with another A to Z of ARK, and today, guys, we are taking a look at the Mantis. So, guys, the Mantis is found on Scorched Earth, Ragnarok, Extinction, Valgyro, Crystal Isles, and Genesis Part 2. And these guys, they have their uses. They definitely have their uses, and they are pretty annoying to tame up. So, let's jump into it and see just exactly how we can tame them and their abilities. Alrighty, guys, so in order to tame a Mantis up, they are passive tames, and I would recommend bringing bug repellent with you as well as a full set of ghillie, as that will help you massively. And they are a passive tame that require deathworm horns or woolly rhino horns. Deathworm horns are the better horn to use for these guys, but obviously if you're playing on a map that doesn't have access to deathworms, you're going to need to use rhino horns, unfortunately. So all you need to do is simply run up to the back of the Mantis and make sure that you're level 40. That was another thing. And because we're in creative mode, it doesn't actually factor that in. So you have to make sure that you're level 40. Otherwise, yeah, you won't be able to tame these guys. Some passive creatures actually have that level requirement. Like I believe Equus, you have to be level 20 or 10, I think, to actually tame them up. So let's try this again. All you need to do is simply walk up to the back of the Mantis, feed it the deathworm horn, and back up. Now, another strategy that you can use in order to tame these guys up is bring a wyvern with you. Now, generally, these guys are found in desert sections, and they will be spawning in groups of 3 or more. And what you can do is, because mantises don't actually aggro on wyverns, what you can do is you can feed it the horn, simply run over to your wyvern, hop on top of your wyvern, and just chill. Just chillax and wait for the mantis to be hungry again, and they won't actually aggro on you or anything. Because mantises are notorious for aggroing on small to medium tames, as well as the players themselves, obviously. So you need to make sure that you've got that and a wyvern or a large tame that they won't aggro on, and you'll be safe. Now, as well as that, you need to make sure that there's no dangerous predators in the area that will actually damage your manta, or that the manta will aggro on. Because the moment it takes a hit, it will lose its taming progress. So you need to make sure that you have this guy under lock and key, and that he can't go and attack anything, and that nothing can go and attack him. You can still skirt around these guys as long as you don't come into contact with their front side. You should be a-okay, and you can passively tame them up just like this. Now, once you've tamed your Mantis up, their saddle requirement is level 45, which is funny because you need to be level 40 to tame them. And all they require is 75 fiber, 120 hide, and 35 metal ingots. It is made in your inventory, so it's a relatively easy saddle to come across. Chuck that into your Mantis, and these guys become one of the best harvesters in the game. So what you want to do with these guys is you want to pair them with an RG or something that has a lot of weight, like a Quetzal even. Now, once you've got your Mantis tamed up and you've got your tools, you can simply slot them into his hand slot. Now, you've got a couple of different options. You've got your pickaxe, your hatchet, your sword, and your club. All of these can go in the Mantis's inventory, and you can equip these onto his hands. Now, obviously, depending on what you equipped, that will dictate what resources you get. And this guy is great for going around and just smacking the crap out of anything and everything that you want to get. Now, these attacks do scale with the Mantis's melee damage itself, as well as the tool's weapon damage and the quality of the tool. So you can currently see here, we've got a Mastercraft pickaxe, which is absolutely dog shit, with 117% melee weapon damage. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a new one of those in, because that is absolutely crap. 275, that's looking a lot better. So we're going to whack that in there, and that'll actually allow us to harvest up a lot more flint. Can I help you, dude? Get lost. And you can see there, that was the Mantis that we were passively taming up, and it has actually reset its taming bar due to it attacking us. Luckily, we had our fire wyvern around to fix it up. So you can see here that with this higher tier pickaxe, we're able to get a lot more resources from everything that we smack around us, making this guy, once again, one of the best harvesters that you can actually get in the game. So we're going to drop all of that. Now, pretty much vice versa with the hatchet, you can go ahead and get a bunch of stone, a bunch of wood from whatever it is that you're hitting. The only downside to this is obviously the Mantis does not have the greatest amount of weight, which kind of sucks. Now, also another factor that you can actually include in this as well is imprinting on a bred Mantis. Once again, increases the amount of melee damage that your Mantis will do, therefore increasing the amount of resources that you can harvest. And due to a semi-recent patch, these guys are now breedable with each other as well. Which once again, you can breed for mutations, therefore increasing the amount of damage that you do and all that good stuff. Now, you can also equip weapons onto them, such as the sword, sickle, and club. And obviously, these will all do damage as well. Now, the swords amplify the Mantis's already strong melee damage and power, amplifying it to very large amounts. Now, another factor that I did not mention as well is that their secondary attack will deal more damage and harvest more resources. You can see there, we just smacked this poor Parasol for 520 damage with our Ascendant Swords. Now, like I said, you can use this without weapons and still do that damage, but the swords and everything else will amplify that actual damage. You can see here, we're not going to be hitting as hard because we don't have those swords equipped, but we still do a lot of damage. There we go, 123 damage. So let's whack this sword back on and just chop these guys straight up in one hit. Absolutely freaking crazy how good and strong Mantises are. Now, another addition is the club, and you can actually knock out tames using clubs on your Mantis. You do look a little bit ridiculous, a little bit caveman-like, but hey, who cares, because you can knock out creatures like this. All you need to do is simply whack the creature, and look at that. 2 hits, and we've knocked this Parasaur out at level 20 with 318 Torpor. Now, we could have probably let that Torpor stack for a little bit longer, but we didn't, and we knocked it out ASAP. So, you know, and once again, you can stack this damage up with its secondary attack. What level are you? Level 50? We're going to let it do its thing for a second, see if that Torpor applies. Look at that. Level 50, 2 hits. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What we're going to do, we'll get a Rex in here, and we'll see how long it takes us to actually knock out a Rex with these Ascendant clubs. But like I said, this all scales with the Mantis's melee damage as well as the quality of the tools. So keep that in mind if you do want to go ahead and tame up a Mantis, but we're going to just smack this Rex in the butt. Now, you can use this guy as a tamer. Obviously, you will need to have a decent saddle for him though, because you're going to take a little bit more damage. But look at that! A level 25 Rex knocked out in literally 15 seconds. How much torpor you got, big fella? 3.5k torpor. Absolutely crazy. This guy isn't even imprinted or anything like that. So if you haven't tamed a Mantis up and you're not using one to do some daily errands and stuff like that, believe me when I say that you are missing out. As well as that, you can set up these guys to farm if you breed them, let the babies raise, and then chainsaw up the offspring. You can get a crap ton of organic polymer as well from the offspring of the Mantis, which is definitely worth it as well. About 400 polymer, I think you can get from a fully grown Mantis. So I would definitely recommend looking into that. Now, as well as that, guys, these guys are probably the best way to go about harvesting mutagel on Genesis Part 2 from the rocks. Equip them with a pickaxe, and they will be your best way to farm up the mutagel. I have found anyway, from hitting those rocks on the asteroids, that's just me. I personally found the Mantis to be the best way to gather mutagel. But guys, that's going to wrap the video up for today for the Mantises. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe down below for more, and I will catch you in the next one.